students, good evening. I hope you're all studying well and you've already started studying with regards to your current affairs and all the news that will be potentially important for our upcoming CLAT 2025 examination. Understanding this week has been a roller coaster. We have seen so many news, and these news are not really, beyond the election ideas. Beyond election, we have seen that there have been quite a lot of things that have been very very important. So let's dive into it. Let's try to see what am I trying to discuss. Okay, let's begin. So the first news that we are discussing, the China Pakistan corridor, economic corridor. Now, what is this? Basically, the CPEC. This is the second phase, which is expected to be formally announced during the visit of Pakistan's PM, that is Shehbaz Sharif, to China. Now, understanding this is a major bilateral project which is aimed to improve the infrastructure within Pakistan and to enhance the trade with China and further integrate with the South Asian countries. Understanding this, it is a part of the Belt and Road Initiative, so it becomes important for you to study this Belt and Road Initiative, which was announced in the year 2013. Now, this is basically, it is to improve the connectivity, trade, communication and cooperation across Eurasia. Eurasia, again, Europe and Asia. This project was officially launched on the 20th of April 2015, and the signing the basically agreement, or basically there were 51 countries who decided to be a part of this, between the Chinese President Xi Jinping and Pakistani Prime Minister, which is Nawaz Sharif. Try to understand this. Now, moving ahead, if you see, you can understand this idea or basically this whole initiative. Now see, for China, it will reduce the transportation time for goods and energy. From China, how is it traveling? And if you can see, it is also going across the POK region as well and entering Pakistan. And if you see, this is how it travels from West Asia to Persian Gulf. And from the southern part, if you see China, then the South China Sea, traveling via Indian Ocean and then moving ahead. So try to study this as well. Now, this agreement was valued at $46 billion, and the objective here includes transforming Pakistan's economy by modernizing or making its road, rail, air and energy transportation systems better. Similarly, this aims to connect the Pakistan's deep sea ports of Gwadar and Karachi to China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region and beyond through overland routes. Understanding this, the borders of basically Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan and India, and it is historically significant as a part of the ancient Silk Route. Understanding the same, it definitely seeks to reduce the time and cost of transportation, goods and energy, which are such as natural gases, to China by avoiding the Strait of Malacca and the South China Sea. So try to study about this in depth. Okay, specifically the phase 2 and understanding the inaugurating period as well. Now, similarly, moving ahead, what are we seeing? 2 bird sanctuaries of Bihar were added to the Ramsar list. Now, what is this? Basically, Ramsar site is a wetland site designated to be of an international importance under the Ramsar Convention, which is also known as the Convention on Wetlands. It is an international environmental treaty which was signed in the year 1971 in Ramsar, which is in Iran, under the basically UNESCO. Now, understanding this, India has 2 bird sanctuaries from Bihar, which is Nagi and Nakti, and this is being added to the Ramsar site, which is taking our complete tally to 82. Okay, so try to read about all the 82 sites, all the 82 places that have been added. In the recent past, there have been lot of places that were added, so try to study about this. Now, similarly, the newest wetlands of international importance, both man-made reservoirs situated in the Jhajah forest range of Jamui district, which is in Bihar, that were added to this site, which was added on the World Environment Day, which is observed on the 5th of June. Again, why is it added on the World Environment Day? It is a very obvious answer, because it is some or the other way related to environment, and this is also an international environment treaty. Understanding the same, the two new wetlands that were man-made reservoirs have been situated in these regions, and the catchments feature dry, deciduous forests surrounded by the hills. Now, this is the Secretary of Department of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of Bihar who mentioned this. Similarly, this bird sanctuary, that is Nakti Bird Sanctuary, was developed primarily for the irrigation through the construction of Nakti Dam. Now, since this dam's construction, the wetland is and its surrounding areas have provided a habitat for over 150 species of birds, mammals, fishes, aquatic plants, reptiles, and amphibians. Try to read about this, the depth. I am not asking you to read about the species of birds that have been very important, or that are a part of it, but try to study about the Nakti Dam, the bird sanctuary, and these are included, they basically include certain threatened species, which includes endangered Indian elephant and the vulnerable native catfish. So try to study these two things. Moving ahead, what are we seeing? The Indian American astronaut, her name is Sunita Williams. She becomes the first woman to pilot new spacecraft on the maiden crew test flight. Now, what is this? The Indian origin NASA astronaut, which is Sunita Williams, along with Butch Wilmore, has become the first to fly to space abroad the Boeing Starliners in the first ever crewed mission. Okay, now she is a 59-year-old who has created this history by becoming the first woman to fly on the maiden mission of a new human-rated spacecraft. Try to study about this. The crew was launched on the 5th of June of 2024 to fly abroad to the United Launch Alliance's Atlas V rocket that was from the Space Launch Complex 41 at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, which is in Florida. Try to read about this, and while you are reading about this, it becomes important for you to read the history of Sunita Williams as well as Butch Wilmore. Okay, try to see the kind of missions that they have completed in the past. Now, understanding this, we come to the next second news on environment, which is Environmental Performance Index. What is this? Now, this year, if we see, Estonia has ranked first, showcasing global challenges in emission reduction and biodiversity protection. Similarly, India's rank for this year has been 176th, underscoring the need for enhanced sustainability efforts. The index reveals that many countries struggle with reducing emissions in hard to decarbonize industries and managing the paper parks, where protected areas fail to prevent ecosystem loss. Understanding this, there are only 5 countries, that is Estonia, Finland, Greece, Timor-Leste and UK, have the cut to GHG emissions at the rate needed to achieve the net zero target by 2050. Similarly, the developing countries like Vietnam, Pakistan, Laos, Myanmar and Bangladesh rank the lowest here, which indicates a pressing need of global cooperation to support the sustainable development. Now, we know for a fact that India has anyway pledged to achieve net zero. So, the question here is, by which year have we promised or have we pledged to attain or achieve the goal of net zero? Drop it in the comment section and let me know, by which year are we planning to achieve this thing. Next, of course, Helen Mary Roberts became the first woman brigadier in Pakistan Army from minority community. Okay, this also becomes important. Of course, Dr. Helen Mary Roberts is a Christian lady who becomes the first woman to be promoted to the rank of 1-star officer in Pakistan's 77-year-old military history. Now, she has been elevated to the rank of brigadier, and before Brigadier Roberts' promotion, Major General Nigar Johar broke the gender barriers in the male-dominated Pakistani army by becoming the first female officer to be promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General in the year 2020. The officer was also appointed as the first female Surgeon General for the army. Understanding the same, it also becomes important. As I told you, she comes from the minority community. So when I'm trying to talk about this, it becomes important for us to understand the statistics as well. So Pakistan's Bureau of Statistics in the year 2021 released some data stating that there are somewhere around 96.47% of Muslims in the country, followed by 2.14% of Hindus, 1.27% of Christians, 0.09% of Ahmadi Muslims, and 0.02% of others who are part of Pakistan in general. So try to read about this as well. Moving ahead, coming to the last part of today's discussion, last news, which is India's first female UN ambassador, which is Ruchira Kamboj, retires after 35 years. Now, she's been a senior diplomat who has made a history after becoming the first woman to become the Indian ambassador to the United Nations. She retired on the 1st of June after an illustrious career spanning nearly 4 decades. And she announced this thing on Saturday. Now, she's mostly, very recently she was holding the position of permanent representative of India to the United Nations, where she worked from August of 2022 till the May of 2024 before retiring. She has held the position of Permanent Representative of India to UNESCO, Paris, High Commissioner of India to South Africa. Understanding this, she was the first female Indian ambassador to Bhutan. She was the top ranked woman in both 1987 Foreign Services and Civil Services batches in India. Understanding the same, she has worked as the 3rd secretary in the Indian Embassy to France and the 2nd secretary before returning to Delhi. She worked as Under Secretary in India's Ministry of External Affairs, handling India's relationship with the Commonwealth of Nations. Now, similarly, from the year 96 to 99, that is 1996 to 1999, she served as the first secretary and head of Chancery at the Indian High Commission in Mauritius. She later served as a deputy secretary and director in charge of Foreign Services, Personnel and Kedar in Delhi. Understanding the same, she was a part of the G4 team working on the UN Secretary Security Council reform. Similarly, from the year 2006 to 2009, she was India's Consul General in Cape Town, South Africa, coordinating visits of Indian and Congress Party leaders. Finally, Ruchira Kamboj, India's first and only lady in the government to hold a office position of Chief of Protocol from the year 2011 to 2014. So try to read in depth about all of these things. Keep yourself aware. Drop it in the comment section about the answer to the question that I've asked about India's goal on achieving the net zero target. Which year are we planning to do so? Apart from this, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop it in the comments section and we will be happy to help you. I hope you have already liked the session. Do share it with your other friends who are preparing for CLAT 2025 examination. I'll see you all on next Saturday. Till then, bye bye, take care and all the best.